Good morning. All right. So this week we're talking about the 6 human needs. Now, number one, this is a filter. First of all, it's a great way to understand yourself. Why do we have the problems that we do? And we all have the same problems. I get the pleasure of working with people all over the world in these Tony events that I do, literally friends all over the world and people all over the world. And we're all the same. We're all dealing with the same stuff. And wealth doesn't matter. You still have the same problems, and then you have more problems because you got to worry about your money. But it does make it so that you can arrive at your problems in style. But these 6 human needs are what makes it so that we all end up having the same problems, because the needs are needs, okay? You're going to find a way to meet these needs no matter what. And if you don't find a good way, you're going to find a bad way. And they also are inherently in conflict. So that creates the dichotomy that we're always balancing. So the first 4 needs are the needs that we always find a way to fulfill no matter what. And then the last 2 needs are the needs where all of the growth and really the juice, the stuff that we really want in life is. So our first need is a need for certainty. And, we all have this, and we all have different levels that we have to have this need be fulfilled. And one of the things that happens is after you hear all of these, you got to ask yourself, what's your top 2 needs? What are your top 2 priorities? Because the top 2 needs are like your values and beliefs. What your top towards values are and your top away values will tell you a lot about how you live your life. Well, the same is true with your needs. If your top 2 needs are certainty and significance, well, that's going to create a different person than if your top 2 needs are growth and contribution. So another filter to look at yourself and look at others and figure out why people are doing what they do. So number 1 need is certainty. And certainty is a need for, that the building is going to hold up above you, that you're going to have your job, that you're going to have a certain level of financial security, that your relationship is going to be stable. You're going to have, your child's health is going to be okay. Your children are going to be taken care of financially. That's all under the umbrella of certainty. And we all need a certain level of certainty, but some people need it a lot more than others. There are people who need certainty at a very high level, and then people who it's not as big a deal for them. But we all need it at some level. But I told you that these needs were kind of inherently in conflict, and you could also look at it as they support each other, but there is a dichotomy, because the second need is uncertainty or variety. We all have a need for that too. Now, for most people, the need for variety is less than the need for certainty, but not for everybody. So, for me, I'm a person that variety is more of a need than certainty is. I don't need certainty as much as most people, and don't know why I'm wired that way, but I am. But it was really, really good for me to know that, because when I got into a relationship with somebody, they need to know that. If their number 1 need is certainty and my number 1 need is variety, how's that going to work out? You got to address that in the relationship, or it's going to create problems. And, this is where you can see relationships are a great example of this, because when somebody first gets in a relationship, they're going to do everything to make sure that the relationship gets solid, right? And we do everything. We do things that are visual. We do things, we do flowers, and we say things, and we do cards, and we do all of this stuff. But then after a while, if the relationship becomes completely predictable in every way, in everything in the relationship becomes completely predictable, what happens? We get bored. And that's the thing with certainty. If you had too much certainty, imagine if, the basketball game last night or the baseball game last night, you knew exactly what was going to happen. How exciting would the game be? Well, it wouldn't be exciting at all. You need a certain level of variety in order to have any excitement in life whatsoever. So While we all need certainty, we also all need variety. And relationships are a great place to look at that, because we want the relationship to be solid and certain, but then when it gets so solid, we get bored. And so what do people do in a relationship when they get bored? Well, they could start a fight. That's a negative way to create variety if they don't intentionally find positive ways. Obviously, there's other ways in order to find variety that could be more destructive to the relationship, but you can see the problem. So that's why one of the things that you got to do with these needs is pay attention to them so that you can fulfill them in positive ways. So if you intentionally set out to fulfill the need of variety in the relationship, you could do all kinds of stuff. You could set out date nights. You could do different things with regards to intimacy. There was this great lady, Laura Korn, Korn. She wrote these books like 30 years ago, 101 Nights of Great Sex, and wrote 50 Great Dates or something like that. And they were these wonderful books where they had like scenarios, and you actually tore out an envelope and filled out a thing, and you sent it to your partner, and then it had these scenarios that were laid out, and they would have, and half of them would be for the guy, for the masculine side of the relationship, and the other half would be for the feminine side of the relationship. Great stuff. A great way to intentionally create variety in your relationship and not let it become the same old, which is easy to have happen because we so much value certainty. So don't feel badly that the relationship gets that solid, but understand that you're going to need some variety in order to keep the relationship exciting. And this is all the type of stuff that you need to know about your significant others, and you need to know about the people who work for you. What are their towards values? What are their away values? What are their needs? Where do they put certainty versus variety? Where do they put the next ones that we're going to talk about? So remember the 6 human needs. Remember that they're needs. You're going to fulfill them one way or another. The first 4 are the musts. You always fulfill them. And they're a little bit juxtaposed because that's what makes life exciting. And the first one is certainty and uncertainty / variety. So start learning about where you fall into these categories and what your top needs are and how you fulfill them. And then watch yourself. If you approach life intentionally, you can see when somebody gets bored and they'll do something to create variety in their life. And a lot of times, if it doesn't work positively, they'll go negatively. I mean, think about your kid. If your kid doesn't get attention from you for doing something positive, what will they do? They'll go do something negative. And then that way they get attention. So have a great day, everybody. We'll continue this rest of the week. We'll talk about the 6 human needs. Great stuff. Have a great day. We're all in this together. Thanks for watching.